What's going on, Tamers? Welcome to DigiPod, the digital podcast featuring the one and only your boys, Varney and Dan, because Mike has taken a vacation for the next 2 weeks. So it's us again. You're going to have fun with us as we talk about our regional scrub out this last weekend. I did not go to locals. I'm not going to start off with that. Dan said he's double dipping. Gino said he's double dipping. They went to locals. So I'm going to let Dan lead the conversation. Dan, how was local?
Speaking of Mike's vacation, this man has a vacation from DigiPod every month. It feels like, my God.
He does.
Jesus Christ.
He really does.
Whose man's is this?
I don't know, man.
While we're out here every goddamn week in the rain, in the cold, in the snow, in the heat, it doesn't matter. We're still here.
You know what we got to do? We got to go set up like a whole recording setup, like straight up when it's snowing. It doesn't have to be a long pod, but like a half-hour pod just in the snow.
While we're outside in the snow.
Background.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
The one and only DGU outside pod.
Let's have another one while there's a torrential downpour and a hurricane or some shit.
Right. This is your news reporter, Varney, reporting live. Oh, that's the hurricane. That's right. It's raining, but we're bringing you Digimon coverage right on the dot. Did you see the new Abatamon that got leaked?
Right. Whoa, did you see the Agumon, the random Agumon appear out of nowhere?
Is that a Ryugumon falling from the sky?
Oh my God, that's crazy. My hair looks wild right now. Anyways, locals, he said, right?
Locals.
I was playing that list that won, what's it called?
The Chimera list?
Yes, the Mawa questionable plays case tournament. So I was running the that V4 Chimera version type deck with a couple of ratios here and there different because I didn't understand fully why he was running certain things. So I was like, I'm gonna try this instead. After a while, I understood why he was doing what he was doing, and I could see why they were important. But even some of the things that I had, like I threw, for example, Mamimon, the DM Mamimon in it, and I got so many face down sources in a play that I played Chimeramon out off of it. Mind you, Chimeramon's a 10 cost. So I had 6 sources face down underneath the Mamimon to be able to play it out. It was goated. Plus, you could still assembly. It was kind of crazy. Anyways, that deck is a whole lot of fun, and it's not hard to get the 7 names. Sometimes, obviously, because variance happens, right? Like sometimes you just don't get the 7, and it takes a little bit. But man, I had a game. I think it was a game. I think it was like game 2 against Gino or some shit, where I went like turn 3 or 4 Chimera, dumb fast. And he was like, you got Chimera already? I was like, yes, here's the 7 names, buddy. And then dropped them, popped whatever, and then, swung out whatever. The deck is really good. I definitely need to, like I mentioned, fix some things. An example, Skull Greymon is probably, besides Analog Youth, which is the obvious, Skull Greymon is pretty important. That card as well allows you
Makes sense because it's an extra assembly target.
Yeah, but not even just that. It's the on-play one digital effect, being able to mill, and then you're able to grab a DM card. So if you mill Chimera or you already use your Chimera, you can use that to grab back your Chimera again. And then you keep going. And obviously you can grab whatever other piece depending on the situation of the game state. Really cool thing about the DM deck, just like Adventure, you have a lot of different options depending on where the game is going. I think it's really cool. I think the number one card that's super important is the Monochromon. Level 4 to on play, de-digivolve something, or when attacking. Super strong in my opinion. What else? What else about that deck? Titamon is really cool. Being able to give your version 4 Digimon block a retail. What
version is Chimera again?
3.
Okay.
So it's just to help, like, because you're running Biomons, which is a version 4, Monochromon's a version 4, and a couple other ones. But like realistically, Titamon is probably the best ace, even if you're playing a Chimeramon focused deck, for your level 6s to just be able to get more wide bodies, play the monochrome on. That's legit your go-to play if you're not playing like strictly version 4. Even if you're playing strictly version 4, playing monochrome on your opponent's turn is so crazy. And yeah,
so Digivolve on your opponent's turn is cracked.
Yeah, especially while they're swinging and you're able to have blockers on that at that point. Really strong, honestly. What else? I don't know. Let's just jump into the rounds. Three rounds of locals. So round 1 was for me Gamamon, and I was just
Gamma. Ooh.
He does not have pro attack powers like that.
Oh damn.
You already know who was probably running it. Anyways, so he was trying to do his thing, and I'm over here learning, and I was like, oh wait. Teacher drew off as a mechanic. And I was like, all right, cool. We'll just tie the ace. Chimera mode, we're going to blow your stuff up. Mind you, because you have all those inheritables, I'm like, all right. You'll protect your Serious Mon. Great. You only have 1 set protection. So now I'm going to raid over your Serious Mon because I'm going to be 16k with my Chimera Mon. And piercing and everything. So it was just super strong. That's basically what happened. Won that 2-0. Clutch card. His one card that was not in his list that I put in was Protein. Being able to go. So here's a play that I'm having. I have 5 names in trash for Chimeramon, and I couldn't obviously assemble. So I had a Titanmon with 2 sources face out, and I knew those were 2 other names, obviously because you can look.
Right.
That I need for Chimeramon. So I swing with Titanmon. It lives because it just so happens to have jamming in the source. And then I went Protein, stripped the 2 sources. It unsuspended Titanmon. It gave me the 2 extra names to be able to play Chimeramon for 3.
Another
swing
one.
Swing out, pop off, and like did really cool combos. Also, obviously, if you're able to do it, it's a little hard because you normally don't have face down cards on Chimeramon stack unless you hard evo.
Right.
But you can go like Analog Youth, place 2 if you have 2 Analog Youths underneath Chimeramon, and then you go swing 2 checks, Protein effect, strip 2, unsuspend 2 more checks because you have rush. So you could do like stupid strong combos like that. And I mentioned before, Analog Youth is the best card in the deck easily. Being able to put cards underneath, then you're able to tap it to gain a memory and draw. Super strong, gives you that extra consistency to it. What else? Yeah, that round.
You know what I like that they're embracing? So, y'all know me. I play like a ton of card games. One of them that I've been playing recently is One Piece. And in One Piece, they have a lot of, if you have 7 or less cards in your hand, draw mechanic, meaning that it doesn't allow you to go over the threshold of 7 or 8 in that case. For One Piece, it matters more because your cards count as counter power. So they're defensive as well as, obviously you're getting to play those. In Digimon, it's kind of different because you digivolve. But in that way, for that deck, it's cool because it's like, all right, you can see how it might get out of hand really quickly. Like, let's just say you had 4 Analog Youths, right? So it's just like, all right, start of main, tuck draw, tuck draw, tuck draw, tuck draw. And you just essentially like cycle 4 cards, which you can still be able to do regardless, because if you have 7 or fewer cards, you're essentially cycling those. But if for whatever reason you were to be above that threshold, like if you had, let's say 9 cards in hand, you're only going to be able to tuck and then not draw because it wants to make sure you're not really like cycling through the deck and kind of like being a purple deck in that aspect, where purple decks can get out of hand because of the amount of cycling or filtering that they're able to do. So it's a pretty cool to see Digimon embracing the sort of, if you have 7 or fewer cards, do this. It's just that it kind of, for that, it's fine. Sometimes it doesn't work because blue has a lot of, if you have 7 or less cards, draw 1, but it doesn't matter because blue gets mad ass draw anyways. So it doesn't end up mattering at the end of the day. But I like to see the effort of trying to curb how mechanics could potentially get out of hand later down the game's lifespan.
Yeah, for sure. And the cool thing is if you do have multiple, let's say your if your hand size is low, so let's say if you're like 3 cards in hand, you could just activate 1 and then tap all 3 to just draw 3, grab 3 memory real quick. If you don't have enough cards to just putting underneath and stuff. So you could do stuff like that as well. And then you could go from 3 to, I don't know, 5, 6 cards easy. And I think technically you could still place the cards underneath afterwards because it's still the start of main. If you really want to, but obviously, then at that point you kind of, you know, losing cards for no reason off the analog utes. But you're still able to. And also, that effect is not like part of the start of main phase. So like, let's say if you for whatever reason didn't put a card underneath, then you use an effect to put a card underneath, then you can tap it,
Which one's the start of main?
Start of main is just to place the card underneath.
Oh,
and then
okay.
It's 3 separate effects. So start of main, place the card underneath. Then is I think it's just your turn. When a card is placed underneath, you draw one, gain a memory. And then the opponent's turn, everything with face down cards is reboot, which is pretty cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so that's what I was saying. So I beat Digimon 2-0, not hard. And then I played kind of the mirror in a sense. He was just running just regular V4, so no real Chimeramon. He was running like 1 Chimeramon just to, I guess he were to see it to do it type thing.
Right.
Game 1, I started off pretty decent, and we both didn't realize at that moment, but he went to a Megamon and then he evolved into Chimeramon over it. And none of us caught it until I went to go DigiGuard. I was like, how's this DigiGuard from a 5 to a 5? And I was like, you shouldn't have taken 2 checks. Right. So essentially our like fix was, all right, let's just say Chimeramon wasn't there. We'll DigiGuard back to the champion. So just both go to the trash and we'll just keep moving because it's already there. Let's just try to fix what's as much as possible.
Right.
And so we ended up doing that. And I got game 1. Game 2, I was straight up all gas. I think I had like a Skull Greymon that like milled like 5, 6 cards. And I was like popping off. I ended up losing steam because I started making stupid misplays that I could have avoided. And I think he saw his analog use more faster than I did too. And I just ended up milling myself out because all he did was kept putting Titamon out and then blockers. And so it was kind of like hard for me to get through because you had to like de-digivolve or like whatever, because normal V4 has, you're usually going to have a Digitamon and then it's going to go Titamon. And so it's double scapegoat. So like even if I de-digivolve the Titamon, cool, I overflow. I get the overflow memory, but I'm still dealing with as Digitamon has scapegoat. And always have multiple Titamon. So that was always a thing as well. And I just ended up milling myself out. I milled out. He dropped a meteor of a gallon. I was just like, all right, I can't just hard play things just to set up for next turn to try to win. And then just milled out. Didn't have anything I needed at that point. And then game 3, I was looking really good. I was going back and forth. And I had the Chimera play. And I made a huge misplay. And I legit was about to do it anyways. And then I just stopped myself. I don't know why. So he had a Skull Gray with a Titamon on board. All I needed to do was drop my Monochromon that I had in my hand to digital the Skull Greymon. Because if I played Chimeramon, which I did instead like a dumbass, I attempted to pop Titamon because I didn't have all colors on board. I didn't have all colors in trash. Attempt to pop Titamon. He's going to scapegoat, kill Skull Gray, play a Monochromon, digital my Chimeramon anyways. And so I don't know why. I just goofed and hard dropped played the Chimera for 3, killed Skull Gray, and I was like, he's about to bring back Monochromon. And I was like, F. And then I don't know why Gino was thinking about it. I was like, bro, just play Monochromon, that's all you need to do. You stop my whole play by playing Monochromon. Just do it. And he's like, oh, yeah, I guess I'll play Monochromon. I was like, there you go. And that's the play, because that's all it is. At that point, like the mirror is legit just who can drop Monochromon as much as possible. It's so dumb. And that cost me the game. He swung out the following turn because I had nothing else I could have done. All I legit just needed to do was play the Monocro, digital off his Skull Gray, and then I go drop the Chimera mod, I think past turn, because I think that would have put me at 2 if I dropped the Monocro, and attempt to pop Tidamon. He's going to protect and kill the Monochroma. So now when he raises his Biomon on the back, there's only 2 Digimon on board, and he would have to do some other stuff to try to win. And I would have, I think I had no, I don't think I had Tidal Ace at that point. But I would have had a better play, and I would have died that turn for sure. And in the following turn, I could have definitely won out. But he ended up taking it. And then round 3, I played against Omnimon deck and 2-0'd him. Monochromon MVP. Just he went to Omnimon. Sorry, buddy. For 4 calls, I'm gonna digital over that boy. Overflow, give me 5, and Chimera mod will deal the rest of whatever you got going on. That's legit what happened. Both games, and then that was all.
Digivolve stay the bane of our existence as big stack, big bad boss monster decks.
Oh yeah, especially decks that might have protection or something. It just gets around it super easily. So went 2-1. I'm excited. I'm happy with the deck. The deck is super fun. Like I don't know, you've been trying out any DM style decks, Varney, but they're super fun to play.
So the only one that I played, because it's the only one that I actually cared about, because I don't care for the other top ends like that, was DM Machinedramon, which I had an unreasonable amount of fun with, because it's just dumb that I can just digivolve all the way up into. So the reason I love DM Machinedramon is because of de-digivolve. My opponent's like, damn, I can't remove your stack. Well, I'll just de-digivolve it. And I'm just like, oh, you didn't remove it after you de-digivolved? All right. Swing, digivolve Machinedramon from trash that you de-digivolved. Activate effect attack more source. It's so stupid and fun. I wish we had more of the Machinedramon's version 5, right?
Yeah.
I wish we had more version 5 support, because I don't like some of the low end for it. Obviously, I mean, none of them have a complete low end, so you end up having to dip into the other versions. But the Machinedramon version is pretty heavily, not heavily, but you benefit more from playing the version 5 low end, but some of the version 5 stuff sucks, realistically. You would love to get the effects from some of the other versions, but Machinedramon can't use and abuse those. Rightfully so, but
correct. It
does suck. So DM Machinedramon has definitely been fun, and I've been enjoying that. That's been the extent of my my DM journey.
I'm excited.
I want to play a DM Omni, but
that should be pretty fun, I think.
You're excited for what?
No, I was gonna say I'm excited to try the other ones. Especially BT22, we get the Monzi and the Shin Monzi for version 1, and those are some strong cards. So I'm excited to see how that works together with everything. Yeah,
I'm so just going off the backing of what we said in our "You Guys Are Wrong About EX9" podcast.
Yeah,
I may not be the most excited for everything in EX9. Machinedramon was definitely what I was looking forward to. That being said, I'm patiently Omni too, to an extent. That being said, I'm patiently waiting to see what other top ends come out, because the Shin Monze and the Monzemon are super cool. What I really like more though is the Raidenmon and the Datamon that we got for, I believe that's version 5, which is
those are some spicy cards.
It makes it tough because you might switch from playing a Machinedramon oriented build to a little bit more of just version 5 build, but Raidenmon Ace is cracked. When digivolving, you may suspend one, then you may unsuspend one Digimon, any Digimon, and then suspend one Digimon, any Digimon, while it has the collision and blocker keyword. And then when any of your version 5 trait Digimon suspend, you can de-digivolve one. which means on one of your opponent's Digimon, which is like, again, we were just talking about the Digivolve is cracked. So using this either offensively or defensively, because it has collision, but also blocker. It's kind of like the ultimate keyword card. I don't think enough people like know about this card, funny enough to say that. But
the crazy part, it's only like a common or uncommon or something like that.
It's an uncommon, and this is a crazy uncommon because this combination of effects is honestly like rare status, realistically speaking. You get a D-Digivolve whenever the attack target changes, so to say.
Yeah, the way the rares have been popping up for like Digimon, especially with a lot of SR tamers coming around, definitely feels like it'd be a minimal rare.
Right. So it's like, man, that card's fantastic. And so I'm definitely going to play that in DM Machine Dramon, but I'm probably going to have to shirk my, all right, here's the machine. Because the Machine Dramon strategy, right, is always, all right, I'm going to play like 12 level 5s. But in this type, if you're going for DM Machine Dramon, you might have to knock yourself off that mentality because it's not going to work the way that you want it to, especially because Datamon isn't a cyborg level 5, but a machine level 5. Granted, he is a level 5, which is fantastic, but he doesn't work for Machine Dramon's assembly because his assembly specifies cyborg level 5s. So it's the only unfortunate part. You essentially have to play stack Machine Dramon if you play this, but it's really good on playing Digivolving, and it's only in your opponent's turn. Their D-Digivolve effects don't affect this Digimon. And then it gets 1,000 DP for each face down card. And then the inheritable is at end of opponent's turn. You may choose one of your opponent's Digimon and your opponent attacks with that chosen Digimon, which can be cracked because you can choose. You don't have to choose. But if you have something like a level 5 setup, they didn't remove it, and you have Raidenmon Ace. So I'm super hyped for that. I'm excited for the future. Like I said in that video, I'm excited for the future of DM support. Looking very bright already. But moving on, DGU went to Roanoke, Virginia for the Top Cut Events Regional. It was, can't remember what they said the player count was at. I think it was a little bit less than 300, right? Oh, it was a little bit over then? All right.
Yeah.
So a little bit over 300 players.
Does that count? Because I remember seeing it was 328, I believe it was.
So 300, let's just go with it. 328 players, 9 rounds of Swiss, no top cut, no day 2. However, before I get into that, we were talking with, shout out to Nightmare. He was on a previous pod. If y'all want to see that pod, you can go back and watch it. We were talking with him. I feel like I can say this. This isn't necessarily something that should not be said, but I'll say first, I was very upset to find out that event was actually a 2-day event. Like, not that regionals was a 2-day event, but that the weekend was a 2-day weekend. They had Digimon, UA, Dragon Ball Super Masters, and Fusion World. They had regionals for I think all of Digimon and both Masters and Fusion World, whatever UA events, and then a ton of side events, Ultimate Cups, 3v3s, and other side events for the other games. We were under the assumption, all of Dan Gino and I were all under the assumption that it was just a regional that was happening. And we planned to go down there for just a Saturday because we were like, all right, cool, we're just heading out for regionals and then we're coming back up. And I'm kind of upset that like we didn't know, because the entire mindset going in was, all right, we're coming in and then we're leaving. But if we had known, then we would have probably planned to stay, because even if we had scrubbed out, we'd be like, all right, that's fine. We can do the salty run back tomorrow. We got Ultimate Cup. It was 3 of us. We can team up for the 3v3. And I originally, so the reason I bring up Nightmare in this is because originally I was going to say I don't like that this wasn't advertised, and I blame Top Cut for that. However, what I heard was that basically they weren't allowed to announce it like that.
Which is weird. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to announce it when you know you have like a 2-day event thing planned.
It is very weird, and it wasn't a Bandai thing. It was a supposedly like a venue thing. So I don't know like what it was, but I just want to like put it out there that like that sucks. As a player, that sucks. Obviously, there were people that knew it was a 2-day event, but that information wasn't widely known. And between me, Dan, and Gino, I mean, we're not like Gino is not involved with like knowing like when stuff is coming up anyways. Like it's Dan and I who tell him. So Dan and I are like the most involved, and we're not like super involved in that. So like we definitely like missed something when we were reading about it. But it does suck that it wasn't like advertised as some sort of like big Bandai game weekend or something, because we missed out on that. We didn't want to stay, but again, we went in with the mindset that we were going to leave, so we did not want to stay, even though we could have. But I just don't like that. So I hope for next time that something like that happens, there is better marketing, because it's a way we definitely would have stayed. We would have made the arrangements. The other thing is that I didn't know this because I was not paying enough attention, but we were told we weren't getting a break. And then at the start of the event, we were told there will be a 1-hour lunch break at the end of round 3, which sucked because Dan, Gino, and I stocked up on a ton of snacks the night before because we thought we weren't getting a break. And turns out we did not have to stock up on snacks because we would have had time to go get food. So that is another thing.
I ate my snacks and the food, so sorry.
That is another thing I just from a player's perspective, I hope is improved on for next time, better communication, because
just let us know. I don't know why there was such a weird hush about what was going to go down. Like, was it because things were not guaranteed or something? Like,
right?
Were you guys planning to have like a 2-day event, but you wasn't sure if the venue was going to allow you to have the 2-day event? Were you because most regionals never have like a lunch break like that. They usually just be like, hey, there's a cafe over there, go grab food whenever you can. Was there like a reason maybe at first you wasn't planning on it, and then the venue was like, if you're gonna have a bunch of people, we want to make money off of you, let's have a lunch break or something? Like, I don't know, was there just a weird miscommunication between like Top Cut and them renting out the venue or something? Like, everything just seemed a little off on that aspect of it.
You know what the kicker was?
It's just weird.
The kicker was finding out that there were vendors at the event. I didn't find that out until the day prior.
Right?
No. I found out a day prior, and that's only because I was lurking in the Discord, and somebody asked that, and they were like, "Yeah, there's going to be vendors," and I was like, "Oh, wait, he's not lying, is he?" Because we've never had vendors at a regional before, I don't think. But you guys can correct me because I don't go to many IRL regionals. Obviously, Texas gets a lot of them, so you guys could very well have them down in Texas. So if they are, let me know. But this was the first regional that I went to that I heard of that had vendors. So you best bet I took a Gallant X Chase because I was like, if I can flip this card with some other cards, I'm goated. And I did. And I was very happy. But Lance, somebody who is very in tune with the competitive scene and knows things more than we do, he didn't know there was going to be vendors there until like the last minute. He wasn't like upset, but he was like, damn, like I could have bought my extra SRs and stuff because I don't need them. I didn't want to carry them with me. Obviously, why would you carry just bulk SRs with you? But you could have flipped them to the vendor, even if they're like 50, 75 cents a pop. And they're worth like, let's say like, I don't know, like $2 or something. I mean, what? At 100, you're still making like $50 or something. Like, just more, the communication definitely could have been better on that aspect from the player's perspective, because I would have, like I said, the entire weekend would have just been structured differently. I luckily brought everything. I didn't want to take my binder. Me and Dan, we have our Dueling Guard bags. Shout out, Dueling Guard is our affiliate sponsor. So if you guys do want to buy any Dueling Guard stuff, you can go to duelingguard.com and use code DigiGuard for 5% off, because there's this nice bag that fits like 1 to 2 deck boxes, some sleeves in the front here and other things. And on the bottom, I've got my playmat strapped here. I only wanted to carry this around the event, but I went with my backpack because I was told that no break. So I had to carry my snacks and water somehow. And B, I had to carry my binder because I was like, damn, like trades, vendor, yada, yada. But I would have liked to not carry that around and planned it like differently and accordingly. So just communication would be nice. Anyways, we were there.
Besides that,
we saw a lot of you guys.
Yeah, but besides that, like the event itself was ran smoothly as all hell, though.
100%. No, the event itself was like I said, I haven't been to many IRLs, but the IRLs I have been to, the events have been not the best in terms of like how they've ran. And yeah, this one was ran very smoothly. TCG Plus worked. It did its job. We had internet. No shoddy internet. Wasn't like, oh, like I can't connect. Like, what's my parent? No, none of that. Everything ran was so good. And stream, I watched back the stream. Stream looked good. They had a whole separate stream setup and everything. I was like, yo, this is baller. This the good job, Top Cut. So yeah, we met a lot of you guys. Shout out to those of you who we saw. We said what's up. I went 4-3 drop. I started out the day 3-0. I lost my first match to Digimon. I took that on the chin. I'll tell you, I'm not going to complain about Digimon except for Gravity Crush should be banned. No, I don't mean to say restricted. I quite literally mean banned. I am tired of these f***ing one-ofs coming in to do their jobs sometimes. Some one-ofs I'm fine with, others I'm not. And I just know in that match, Gravity Crush is like a card that just doesn't need to be there. Because, you know, like, let me put it in this perspective, right? The old argument for why Jack Raid shouldn't be hit is because you need to get the X amount of cards in trash, right? The argument for Gravity Crush for why it shouldn't get hit was because, well, there's a drawback to if you don't end game that turn, right? What if you do end game that turn? Then there is no drawback to the card outside of running a no security effect gain 2 memory card in your deck. Even if it's at 1, there is no drawback outside of 0 cost gain 2 memory, end the game this turn, and you don't have to pay the drawback. Compared to Jack Raid, which is, all right, if the game has gone on long enough, play this one of and gain 2 memory, right? Difference being, you can play one card right at the beginning of the game if you close it out that fast. The other card requires setup and requires trash to be there. I am fine with a one of Jack Raid. I am not fine with the one of Blinding Ray. I am not fine with the one of Gravity Crush. I am not fine with the one of Parabolic Junk. I am not fine with the one of Tropical Venom. And I am not fine with the one of Hammer Spark. So funny enough, the only card that I'm actually advocating for is Jack Raid. That card can go to 0 too. But it is the only card that I'll advocate for because it's the only card that you can't just abuse within like the first 3 turns compared to the other cards. So Gravity Crush is just like, why? Why? I hate everything about this. I guarantee you, I don't say I win that match. That match goes to game 3 if Gravity Crush is at 0. That's all I have to say about it. I'm fine with what Digimon does. It's just the memory abuse. Also, shout out. I was reading comments. Dan Gino and I talked about this on the car ride up down to Virginia. And I saw Shady Water make a comment and we talked about it a little bit. Instead of banning scrambles, trainings, etc., whatnot, so forth, all we really need is more interaction with these damn delay options. All we need is something to say, all right, like Justimon, but more. The problem is like balancing that, right? And Gino suggested that what should be done is just like how Justimon is an archetype that does it. It shouldn't necessarily be archetype locked, but it shouldn't be generic enough that every deck can do it. There should just be a deck or two that can answer it, which I like, right? Because it's the same concept as Tamer Destruction. Not every deck has access to Tamer Destruction, nor does every color. But Tamer Destruction is enough in the game that we don't complain about hybrid decks the way that we used to. I mean, shoot. Shout out to the purple hybrid player who posted on Facebook and said, damn, man, how do we beat Galactic? Because I feel for you. If you lost one match to Galactic, I'd be like, I don't know, just try to like draw your outs a little bit more. But this man lost to 3 Galactic in a row, 1-2 each time.
Back to back to back. It's crazy. I don't know what's the chance of that happening, like percentage wise, but man, that is so unfortunate for him.
I'm not going to hold you. If I played against 2 Galactic and lost, when it went up to round 6, because it was round 4, 5, and 6, go to round 6, my opponent flips them on. I'm already tilted. And then if I lose again...
You mean Sumimon?
Sorry, Sumimon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if I lose again...
I'm scooping it up. I'm not even doing that again. I'm not doing that back to back to back like that. And I'm out. I'm going home.
It's like the first time you're like, all right, I ate it. It is what it is. The second time you're like, all right, it's tough. But surely I won't face any more Galactic Mon. I just got to win out from here. The third time?
My man's face Chief. Probably like 3 of the 5 Galactic players that was at the regionals too. Like, man,
that's a whole fact. I'm so sorry for you, bro. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry you had to go through that. But like, why did I start talking about that again? Damn, I got so sidetracked.
But it was funny though. What was the
drawing the outs?
Drawing the outs. Oh, options.
Oh,
you were talking about
yeah, options and tamers. So Galactic Mon, I mean, obviously it bodied purple hybrid, right? It bodied the hybrid deck. So Tamer Destruction is in the game enough that like when it's there, cool bet. For what it's worth, like when I played Galactic at the store regional, I mean, I got god rolled straight up. Like realistically, that's what it was. Mans drew the perfect hand games 1 and 2. So I had no answer. But he also didn't have a tamer. So like if I could have answered that stack somehow, I would have been fine. So we just need more option delay answers in the game. That is not currently present, and maybe it could be on the horizon. I would suspect something like EX10 to potentially bring us answers to delay options. Lucimon has it, Gospel of the Fallen Angel. Justimon has it, but Justimon won't be getting support until hopefully we get a advanced deck. So hopefully EX10 can bring us something along those lines is what I'm praying for.
I don't
think we'll get it, but
and if we do get more of it, it's gonna be something that's gonna be stupidly archetype locked. They need to do a set of promos if they don't want to make it white, have each color have their own or something, or like MFTs or something, because like this game desperately needs it. It's just we're at a point where if you see someone have double trainings and a Scramon boost, you know you're about to get cooked that following turn. You know what I'm saying? Like we need ways to be able to deal with them. That's not a Justimon. That's not a stupid Gospel option that's trash because you have so many conditions you have to meet. Justimon's good, but like realistically, like what are you gonna do? Make a weird, unless you're playing Justimon itself, which not the best. Are you gonna play a weird like concoction of a black counter deck or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like an anti-meta style deck, like, and would it work? I don't know, maybe, but we need more than that. Like it's just we're at a point we need more than just,
you know what,
that
real talk. I think if Justimon, because it's only Justimon Ace that interacts with your opponent's option cards, right?
Correct. Yes.
If the entire deck was
Cyber
capable
X
of doing it,
pops your own, and same with
if the entire deck was capable of doing it, I think it would be better. Not like, oh, it'd be in the meta or anything, but like if Cyber X was like, all right, you may trash either one of yours or your opponents to get effects. I think it could be so much better, because then that means in a line you can pop 2, which means like early game you can go, all right, cool, against something like Digimon, who by their turn 3 could very well, if they Digivolve and Raising, if they're going second, right, you get 2 memory, Digivolve and Raising, double training. Then the next turn, let's say another training and a boost. And then they raise the following turn, they got 3 trainings and a boost, or 2 boost and 2 training. But Justimon, obviously you'd have to have the cards, and I would lock Cyber X, because currently it's, I think that's perfectly fine. If Cyber Dramon or X antibodies in his source, oh no, that's the one you may place. I would let you place and then lock the by trashing 1 option, or by if you have Cyber Dramon or X antibody, you can trash 1 option in your area or your opponent's area. If you trash one of yours, de-digivolve 2. That way you get the trade-off. You still get more effects for popping your own, or you can use it for counterplay on your opponent's side. And then obviously Justimon Ace will pop either one of yours or your opponent's. That would be a way to make that really good. If they wanted to buff the Justimon archetype, and then Justimon X could just feed into that, because I love that it has, when attacking, you can activate the when digivolving of a Justimon, so you can activate the Blitzarm Ace effect again, which is really nice.
Sure is.
But, you know, they don't want Justimon to be good. What are we going to do?
Cry.
Justimon believers, stand up. So, yeah, getting back to the regionals, we saw a lot of y'all cool stuff. My round, so I took my first loss to, sorry guys, I have the memory of a goldfish. I took my first loss to Digimon, whatever. I took my second loss on stream, unfortunately. To those of you who saw me, you saw me get mollywopped. Unfortunately, you saw me get mollywopped in a game 1 that should have led to a game 3, pretty much, realistically. If you don't know what happened, you didn't watch the stream. I didn't catch it. Shame on me. I'm the bad player because I didn't catch it. What pisses me off isn't the fact that it happened. It's the fact that it happened and I didn't catch it then, but I caught it later in the day. That same exact scenario against, I don't remember who it was, but somebody went to activate a scramble and I said, I don't have a Digimon. You can't do that.
What else?
I don't know how I didn't catch that on stream.
Watching and didn't catch either.
Chat caught it. Thanks, chat. Y'all the real ones. I'm the most upset with myself for letting that slip by, knowing that if I let it slip twice, like if I let it slip then and I let it slip against my second opponent, it would have been whatever. I've been like, oh, get good. But in this case, I'm like, I know that that's not a legal play. So why did I just sit there and watch it happen? I don't know. I honest to God, it's not even like I was like, oh, I'm on stream, like my heart's pounding, like, no. I was calm. I think I was just so hyper focused on the game state that I was too hyper focused and I didn't see that play. That play seemed illegal to me. So it is what it is. I lost game 1 because I got OTK'd off of an OTK that shouldn't have happened. It's not to discredit the play, because if it was a legal play, it would have been an OTK, but it was not a legal play. I mean, the play was pretty cool regardless. I mean, Phoenix X, swing, end of attack, drop the fucking Oriumon, Digivolve into frickin' Alphamon Oriukin, trash 1, recover 1, swing, trash 1, swing for game, is why I say that it wouldn't have happened if it was the other way, but it is what it is. It happened. Game 2, I got put in a very precarious situation. I'm going to talk about this afterwards, so I'll finish up talking about the match. I didn't see any, I wasn't seeing any Omekamon, unfortunately. And by the time I did see my Omekamon, it was too late. I had to do an Omni turn so I could bring out, it was only 2 blockers I had, which was super unfortunate. But my misplay for game 2, this is why I deserve to lose the match anyways. My misplay for game 2, my mind automatically went, block highest body because you want your bodies to live for next turn. Completely forgetting the play I had in my mind. What I did was I had a 7k Magnamon block a 6k Growlmon X. What I should have done was have my 6k blocker token block the 6k Growlmon X. Yes, we both lose a body. However, I still have a blocker that is a Royal Knight. I had a Cool Boy on field. When they digivolve into Garuda X, attempt to pop the Magnamon X, I can drop the Omekamon, go into OmniX. I'm not saying I would have won that game. It would have been very precarious, but I think I would have been in a much better position. I could have probably gotten something out. I don't know, but just maybe. Just maybe. So super unfortunate play on my part. That cost me the game. I don't have low cost bodies for Garuda X to delete, really. So it never really dawned on me that, oh, Garuda X can pop a 8k or less. I was thinking, I hope he pops one of my bigger bodies. So I didn't deserve to win that game, is what it boils down to at the end of the day. Unfortunate, we take him on the chin. I was X2 at that point. I then went up against the mirror match in Royal Knights. So let me talk about this now. I said this on the vlog. So spoiler, y'all got a vlog coming soon. But I'll reiterate it here. Soon. I'll reiterate it here in lesser detail. Royal Knights players. I am a Royal Knights player. I have been a Royal Knights player since BT13. I have been a Megazoo player since when, Dan?
The dawn of time.
I have been a Megazoo player since the beginning of this game. If there is anybody who is familiar with Megazoo strategies, it's this guy right here. I'm not calling myself a master or anything. It's a shout out to Huang Zero because it was his video I watched, Sierra Mist Megazoo, which was green, yellow Megazoo. That was my jam. I am personally of the opinion that if you are not playing 4 Omnimon X Antibody from BT21 or BT20 in your deck, that you are wrong. Yes, there are most definitely lists that have topped with only 3. That doesn't change my opinion in the slightest bit. And let me tell you why. Unfortunately, I'm not a mathematician, so I don't have statistics. However, we can talk about rudimentary statistics, can't we, Dan?
Sure.
You have a 50 card deck. All right, let's try to do some what do they call it? Some Steiner math. No, I'm kidding. I can't do those. I can't do Steiner math. However, I will do some rudimentary math. You have a 50 card deck in Digimon. You draw 5 cards into your opening hand. You put another 5 cards into security. And that means you have 40 cards in your deck. 40 cards in your deck, right? If you run 3 OmniX, you have a 7.5% chance of no, it's less because I don't know, I'm not a mathematician, but if all 3 OmniXs are in the deck and they're not in security or your hand, you have a 7.5% chance of drawing into them. If you run 4 OmniXs, you have a 10% chance of drawing into them, right? That's a 2.5% increase. But what if there's an OmniX in security? If you're running 3 OmniX, that means your chances just went down from 7.5 to 5%. If you're running 4 OmniX and 1 is in security, your chances only went down from 10% to 7.5%. Considering the rate at which you filter through cards between Magnamon and Dynasmon, searching cards and Cool Boy drawing cards, 2.5% is a pretty big difference, right? So like, especially when you consider that 1 being in security, like the difference between 5% and 7.5% is kind of really big for 3 versus 4 copies of a card. If you run 4 copies of a card to make sure that you try to get 1 in security, it never happens. I wish I got Cool Boys in security more often. But if you run 4 Cool Boy because you're trying to obviously, you have to play those from hand. The only thing that's going to play those for you is a Last Guardian in security. So technically speaking, you have 8 cards that play Cool Boy from security, which is better, right? So you play 4 Cool Boy, you play 4 Last Guardian. I know there are people also who play 3 Omecamon, they play 3 Cool Boy, and they play 3 OmniX. Not necessarily in those ratios, but they do. I am a consistency nut when it comes to Digimon. If I'm not playing a purple deck, it's gotta be consistent. Purple is the only color that you can get away with not no consistency, but you can get away with scuffed consistency. There is a reason that Lilith Loop decks ran 4 boost, 4 training, and then 8 rookies. Because if you run 8 cards that search, you effectively have 16 rookies, But purple is the only color that's capable of doing that because of all the draw, trash, search. No other deck is capable of doing that. Royal Knights, a Mega Zoo deck, is most certainly not capable of doing that. Yes, you have Magnamon. Yes, you have Last Guardian. And yes, you have Cool Boy and Dynasmon. But that is not a replacement for sheer draw power every turn. I didn't see any Cool Boys in those matches against the ancient, or what we're calling bird flu. No, I saw one. I think I saw that one in the second game. I don't recall. I don't think I saw one in the first game. And if I did, I didn't have anything to play off of it, unfortunately. So I couldn't get any draw power going. I couldn't get an extra card into hand. If you're in a situation where you can't get that extra draw power, I literally went games. I couldn't see Omecamon or I couldn't see OmniX. Tragic, right? In my Royal Knights mirror, we went to 3 games and I ultimately won game 3 because guess what, Dan? Can you guess why I won game 3?
Because you had more OmniXs than he did?
Exactly. More specifically, he played an OmniX. It was his only OmniX in hand. And when he went to play Omecamon to do OmniX when I was going for game, he didn't draw into another OmniX. So he used his only OmniX. Yeah, shame. He used his only OmniX as an offensive piece, which isn't inherently wrong. But you used it and you didn't have a backup plan. The reason I love 4 OmniX is because when I see 1, that card is my backup plan. I'm holding it so I can see Omecamon, so it's my get out of jail free card. When I see 2 OmniX, bet I'm tucking 1 with Royal Knights of the Purge. If I see 3 OmniX, I'm off to the races. That means I can do whatever I want. I'm busted. I'm cracked. I'm playing it. I'm bottom decking a Digimon, and I get to swing, and I get to raid, and I get to pierce. Why wouldn't you want 4 of those cards in your deck? What other card are you running in that deck that you would rather run over Omnimon X Antibody, the outside of Omecamon best card in the deck? Tell me, Royal Knights players, what card? Because it damn sure isn't a Magnamon. I know nice. Dan says
he's running OmniAce.
Ew.
Imagine.
Well, all right. So you can, right? Wait, no, wait. Does OmniAce is blue-red, right?
Can.
It has to.
Well, I mean, you're never got DNA.
Oh, but OmniAce does it have? Does it specify War Gray and Melga, or is it just blue-red?
I think it specifies them, but you can just do a generic blue-red as well. I think. I don't remember. I'll look it up while you're talking.
So, Dan is of the opinion that you need to run 4 Magnamon, and this Royal Knights player was as well. And hey, if you guys want to run 4 Magnamon, all the power to you. I won't argue with you on that. I don't know. I thought that's what they did, because I feel like I always see them always open it, so it seemed like a 4 of. Because it used to be a 4 of, right? It was, because you didn't have anything better to play.
I swear to God.
You didn't have a better turn 1 play. Back in BT13, it was literally open Magnamon, give them 2, or open Dynasmon, give them 5. Right? Like those were the plays. Now you have 3 opening plays now. Open Magnamon, give them 2. Open Cool Boy, give them 4.
It's just Greymon name and Garurumon name.
Oh, but hey.
For DNA.
Hey, is it blue-red? Does it specify that it has to be blue-red? So you can run War Gray Ace and Melga Ace.
Stop. You ain't doing that.
All right. But you have 3 opening play lines in Royal Knights. Now, Cool Boy, Last Guard. No, as a matter of fact, scratch that noise. Old line was 2 off of Magnamon, 4 off of Omecamon, or 5 off of Dynasmon. Now you have 5 opening plays, 2 off of Magnamon, 3 off of Last Guardian, 4 off of Cool Boy, 4 off of Omecamon, or 5 off of Omecamon. Do you know why I say 5 off of Omecamon? Because if you hard drop turn 1, you have no better play, you hard drop a 5 cost Omecamon and your opponent has no choice but to swing block, you still go under source. You have now set yourself up for the rest of the game. You are still set up. 5 cost Omecamon at 4. 4 cost Omecamon at 2. Cool Boy at 4. Last Guardian at 4. Magnamon at minimum 2. That is 4, 6, 10, 14, 16 cards. If we go into the math again, in a 50 card deck, you have a 32% chance of opening one of those 16 cards in your hand. If you set out your security and everything, and let's say you lose, let's say you don't, you lose like 1 or 2 of them to security, you still have a 35% chance of opening your starting hand with those cards. So yeah, like by playing more Magnamon, 16 up to 18 cards total, 18 to 19, in your opening hand, out of a 50 card deck, that's 36%. Or if you lose 1 to security, like we were talking about, 40% chance of opening that in your starting hand, which is still really good. So it's much more than what it used to be. With that in mind, Magnamon is a card that I only want in my hand on like my turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3. My first play, if I have Magnamon, depending on what I'm playing against, if I don't know what I'm playing against, I'm only giving you 2 memory. If I know what I'm playing against, I'm comfortable with it, I'll drop that Cool Boy for 4 memory, because that Cool Boy is going to get me such massive memory next turn. If I open both Magnamon and Cool Boy, I will legitimately give you 4 memory just so that I can be greedy next turn and get an extra draw and potentially drop something else, whether it's a Last Guardian, whether it's a Royal Knights of the Purge, whether it's an Omecamon. Like, there are such good opening plays that you can do with it. That's why I didn't cut Magnamon. For the longest time, I was running it at 2. Dan told me to put it up to 3. I put it up to 3. I don't mind seeing it at 3. 4 though is way too much, especially because I personally don't run Leopardmon. There are some lists that do run Leopardmon. He was running Leopardmon. That allows you to be a little bit more flexible with your plays. But the problem with Leopardmon is it's only good if you essentially have 8 cost reduction, meaning that you need to have all 3 Drazels and an extra source and have 3 memory, which isn't almost likely because unless you have a memory setter, everybody's still trying to choke you as a Royal Knights player. So I would like that because then Leopardmon can drop Magnamon for 3, which is cool, but it doesn't really help. I cut Leopardmon from the deck because I tried for the longest time. Leopardmon was not a performer for me. So I only play 3 Magnamon right now. And if I needed to absolutely cut something for something else, you best bet I'll cut Magnamon to 2. I have no problems doing that because I've got all these other openers in my deck. I have no problem doing any of that. With that being said, I went on this whole rant, this whole spiel, just to say that Royal Knights is a very personal deck. It's a very, very ratio-driven personal deck. But if you are looking to play this deck and you don't already have it built, I would never, if you were to ask me how to build the deck, the only answer that will come out of my mouth is you better be playing 4 Omnimon X, 3 BT13 Omni, 4 BT20 Omecamon, 2 BT13 Omecamon, at least 2 Magnamon, if not 3, 4 Cool Boy, 4 Last Guardian, and 4 Royal Knights of the Purge. That is about a 25 card core locked. That is the only way I will tell you to build that deck, because that's my opinion. I didn't lose my games because I ran 3 OmniX. I lost my games because I couldn't see my OmniX at 4 right? Megidramon killed me turn 3 both games. But if I could have seen an Omekamon to get into Sword, he's only going to pop my stuff. He's not bottom decking anything, right? So if I could have had an Omekamon in my source, if I could have had a Last Guardian Insecurity to play my Omekamon while I had an OmniX in hand, I'm not saying I win that game. I'm saying I stand a chance to go to game 3. That matters for Megidramon. That matters for Bird Flu. And that is the only reason I was able to survive against Purple Hybrid, which was my 3rd loss, because of Omekamon and OmniX. Why would you not play at 4 your emergency buttons, your get out of jail free cards? That's my rant. Rant over. Like I said, 3rd loss to Purple Hybrid. Game 1 was the Dan epitome of all gas, no brakes. Yaramin. I had no answer for everything that came at me. Game 2 was much more drawn out, and I'll say it for what it is. Y'all can call me salty if you want. I lost to the Floodgate. I lost to the Floodgate. I lost to the reason that I didn't want to play Royal Knights in the first place. Because I know that as the Royal Knights player, if I get floodgated, I need to draw into my answers. And guess what? I didn't draw into my answers, because why would I? I literally sat there with Dan the night before and I was like, yo, what should I throw in this deck for floodgates? And we talked about it and we came up with Marcus and Queen's Device. You want to know how fantastic those cards were for me throughout the day? They were tragic. Trash. Marcus came up for me once against the Dragon Lynx, and I was able to pop the Solarmon. That was 7 rounds of play, and nobody played Floodgates against. And guess what? There are much better games outside of getting bum rushed. And of course, in the matchup where they can recur the Floodgates, I can't even draw into the out. So I lost to the Floodgate. Because best bet, I had game 2 wrapped up if I could have gotten my swings in. But I just didn't have an answer to the Floodgate, so I lost to the Floodgate. It is what it is. So at that point, I had taken my 3rd loss and we decided to go home. Now, as for my wins, first round I played against Gallantmon and I won. He wasn't able to really do Gallant X shenanigans, so you dust it up real quick before they start doing that stuff, because if they kick off, sometimes it can be unanswerable. Game 2, I played against Millie, which was definitely an experience. I have to thank Dan for this, because if I didn't have any playtesting against Millie, it definitely would have been a little bit tougher. But knowing that, you know, basically my shit's gonna get popped every turn, once they're hard dropping Chimera, you know, it's like, all right, we gotta watch what we're putting on board and we gotta watch how we're doing things. At one point, he asked me cards in hand, and unfortunately, I had 7, so my cool boy got popped. Best bet that I tempered. I hate tempering draws in Royal Knights, but best bet, we start tempering the draws because we not letting no free deletes of cool boys happen, right? So then I started playing that game 2. I had to play that a little bit differently. Luckily, his Zed Millie both times basically crashed OmniX. That's the only out we have for Zed Millie. Hope that you either swing into OmniX insecurity, or what was really stupid, and I can understand why people say Last Guardian needs to go, was put Last Guardian on board, or put 2 Last Guardian on board. You have your OmniX, and they swing Millie, attempt to bottom deck OmniX, and you're like, Last Guardian, nope. And then you block OmniX because you're both 16k, and then once again you say Last Guardian, nope. It's stupid.
Was he running the new promo option by any chance or no?
So yeah, he was running the Wicked God Emerges.
Okay.
And that card was a freaking menace, bro. Because early game, it's your setup, trash 1, draw 2. And then once you get that first Millie on board.
Yes, sir.
And you know.
The floodgates open up on
it really is. And you know, like the whole problem with the deck initially was that you have to chain get into the Millies. But because this lets you just go straight into Zed, is exactly what he did. just go straight into Zed. And I'm like, I can't interact with this. I can't out this. So that's it's definitely a very good card for the deck. And yeah, you should be, I mean, obviously you are, but if you're looking to play Millie, that's a 4 of. No shot. It is a consistency card.
I got my fourth
feeds your
one
game
yesterday.
plan. Nice. I honestly, I mean, so he said it was his first time, like he was like, not first time, but like he didn't have much practice with the deck beforehand, but he was piloting it very well. There was a lot of play lines, and I think if it were you would have been able to out my boards a little bit more efficiently, a little bit better. But I mean, it's no discredit to him. I think he played it as well as he could for what he knew, because we went, I pretty much won both games. I won game 1. This man's decked himself out. I shit you not. But because, bro, he drew so much. Bro, he drew so much cards. I was like, damn, I know Dan would love this.
Especially if you're bottom decking the Machine Chimera, you technically should never deck yourself out.
Well, so that's how he kept himself from decking out. I was able to win because like he kept basically looping it. He had like Revive from Darkness. Wink, wink. That was spicy.
Okay.
Pop the Millie, bottom deck the sources, prevent himself from decking out is what happened, but also replay the Millie and then also get out a Chimeramon.
Sure, yeah.
His big problem was that he didn't have blocker in any of his stacks. He only had redirects. So that was definitely a very big detriment. If he had the blocker, I wouldn't have been able to win. But because I was able to basically swing past all of his redirects, I didn't have to worry because I had like low cost stuff swinging. So he would redirect, but you just need more. He needed more. If he even had like 1 blocker, it would have thrown off my math and I might not have been able to go for game. So I won game 1 because he basically got really close to deck out, and I essentially just had a lot of time to like set my stuff up. I don't recall how I won game 2, but it probably was like a combination of like OmniX going in and in and in because I want to bottom deck his stuff. But the problem is Millie isn't on deletion, but the Wicked God descends is when it would leave the battle area. So I'm like, I gotta watch out for this. I gotta make sure I have something to absorb the Millie, because I think Millie is pop lowest DP, right?
No, Millennium just pops whatever.
Oh, it pops whatever. There was something I was playing around. I don't remember what it was, or maybe it was just having Last Guardian on board. Whatever it was. Like I said, man's was plow. I was like, God damn, I'm not gonna lie. Early on, I was like, I might take my first loss to Millie. God damn. So Millie enjoyers. Deck is good. I won that 2-0 though. It was a very long 2-0 though. And then my third match was against Dragon Lynx. This was the player that topped Elta. I won against Elta. And that was a very tough match because both dragons, their floodgate effects, they don't matter to me. Well, unless you're going for game, then I can't play OmniX depending on how you sequence it. That being said, your floodgate effects generally don't matter to me. What does matter, however, is when they would leave the battle area, they play each other out. So I thank you, Dan, and I have to say thank you, Dan. The night before, so let me preface y'all with this. When I was packing for Friday, I put a whole slew of cards in a deck box because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to need this card, but I'm going to take it just in case. And the one card that I said, yo, Dan, you think I should put this in the deck because this can strip source. This can get around the things that the deck doesn't have an answer to. One of my biggest problems was Kaguya, because the protection from the level 5s make it really tough to deal with. I can get around it with OmniX, but that means I have to pull an Omeka OmniX play, which means I have to hit the emergency button. So I was like, hopefully this All-Force, this BT13 All-Force will help me get around that. And let me tell you, outside of OmniX, All-Force was my best performer of the entire day. All-Force was putting in the work because I was able to strip the man's source and then bounce the... So I think Volcanic plays from hand and Metallic plays from trash. or it's flip-flopped. I don't remember. Don't call me out on it. But do let me know in the comments. Whatever it was, I was able to put the volcanic back in his hand so that the metallic couldn't play it from trash. Because I don't care about metallic getting played from trash. It just de-digivolves. Okay. What do I care about getting de-digivolved? I don't have anything to de-digivolve. And if you're going to de-digivolve an OmniX, get an Omega back. You know what I mean? Volcanic matters because it pops lowest DP. And I basically, realistically, I won because I was able to keep the volcanic out of trash. As long as I kept volcanic out of trash, I was goated. No free play of volcanic whenever the other one leaves, which was Chef's Kiss. So both were long games that got drawn out, and I pretty much won those games because OmniX and Galamon Crimson mode is an absolutely stupid combo. How many cards in trash? We both have 30. I'll swing trash 3, swing for game. Well, I won that. And then my fourth win was, like I said, against the Royal Knights Mirror. So that was my day, 4-3. I'm going to stop talking now because I've talked for way too goddamn long. So Dan, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah. We didn't do well at all. Depression. Highly depressed. Also went X3. Yes, went X3. So 4-3. 4-3 drop. I was playing Machine Dramon. Low-key regret it. It is what it is at this point. I think for anyone, let me rephrase this. For any body that said this when the card first came out. If y'all think EX1 Machinedramon is better than a new EX9 Machinedramon, y'all on a crack. Okay? That's one. It was legit the reason why I lost my match against Akuyamon. It's the reason why I lost against Hunters. It's the reason why I lost against Dragon Mode.
Vimperial.
Yeah, I don't know why it's a Dragon Mode. I meant purple.
To be fair, it is the Dragon Mode deck.
Yeah. And I'll talk about those in a second because I didn't have a 4th EX9 Machinedramon and I didn't even think about it. I probably could have borrowed one from Varney, honestly. I just didn't think about it. I was like, I was on the cope.
3 should be fine, plus EX1.
I was on the cope. Right. Yeah, I was on the cope of EX1 is still a good card in today's world. And I'm like, 3-1 split. I think it's all right. I have my 3 Chaos Dramons. I have 2 Chaos X's. And I have my line of, cyborgs. I'm running the black base. Shout out to, what's his name? Avid Herpetologist. My list was inspired by his. He went with like the Modimon, the black base, Modimon egg with the Ukos, and then he was running the OG EX1 hooker to trash 1 draw 2. And then I was running my cyborgs that I prefer in the deck list versus what he had. But I could definitely see the need of having 2 of the EX9 Megadramon. That card is goated. It allows you to OTK people, which is important. And that's kind of like the style of the deck. Yeah, you can play now. So that was kind of like my little issue. I also made a mistake, I guess you could say, in the sense of misplays and stuff like that, which I'll get into in a bit. But like majority of it was just like, man, I just couldn't see certain pieces, or I was too slow at the gates or something, and it just wasn't the best in those games. Offer round 1 was that's a tough match. Offer really. Purple Imperial was tough, especially if they know how to play the deck. Seems like he knew how to play the deck pretty well. And I think I played against him prior because his mat was very familiar. Unless someone else has the same mat, but I doubt it. He was doing his thing. Game 1. He got me pretty good. I didn't see EX1 Machine Dramon. No, I'm sorry. I didn't see EX9, I think. I don't remember right now.
It would have been that you didn't see EX9.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was right now. I want to say that I think I went 3 games. I think I could look on Bandai app real quick. So I don't remember fully that match. I guess because it was so early into the regional. I just know I won a game because he misplayed. Because he grabbed a...
Oh, right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He grabbed the wrong card.
Oh, look. Yeah, all my losses were all 1-2. Oh, okay, great. At least I don't feel that bad. Anyways. So, yeah. Okay. Now I remember. Game 1, he got me good. I couldn't do much going. I was slow at the gates. By the time I was able to set up and to like get him to chill out, I only had 1 analog man. I needed 2 on board because... whatever the reason was, and I couldn't get there, and he got me. Game 2, he made his misplay by grabbing Imperial Dramon FM, the blue-green version, instead of a dragon mode, and he couldn't DNA. And after that, I was like, all right, cool, board control, I'll deal with your board, and I OTK'd him. And then game 3, I never saw EX9 Machine Dramon, and I saw the EX1 goddamn Machine Dramon, and it lost me the game because he doesn't do anything on play outside of, gaining your memory, which is cool and all. But who cares when you have Supreme Connection with, EX9? That's already he's already becomes a 6 cost, and then you bring it down to a 3 cost Machine Dramon, right? And mind you, get those on play effects as well. And now those on play effects, the more you play the game with the deck, the more you realize how clutch they become because it's just a toolbox of whatever you need at that moment. And so I needed to like digivolve his like stack or something or whatever it was, and I couldn't do it. And then he just kept he went double combo where he went he did a combo, attacked over, blew it up, and then he went into the 1 cost demonic disaster, killed the stack, played everything out, redid it again, and just kept going through and got rid of the Machine Dramon, killed me. I was like, fantastic. Great start of the day. Round 2, I played against Hunters. Lost that 1-2-1. Game 1 was a pretty good start for me. Pretty much cooked him. Not much he was able to do. Game 2, I made a misplay that ended up being called getting the judge called over. And no, that was still game 1. My fault. That was game 1 when that happened. So I learned, I guess I should have been noticed, but I thought it was like this anyways. If you play attack of the heavy, all your level 6 Digimon gain, Russian Blitz. The Blitz part does not stay on your level 6 machines. That's what I found out because I went to go evolve into Chaos Dramon, Metal Momimon, end of turn effect, unsuspend, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna blitz a game. And he goes, no, you can't do that. I was like, what do you mean you can't do that? He's like, you can't do that. I was like, it gains the blitz. What do you mean? And so we had a judge come over. It was Nightmare. He came by Reddit. He was like, no, it's only when you on play it gains it for that specific instance. It's something I learned. I never knew that. I always thought it kept the blitz as well. And so that also almost cost me the game. Then game 2, he saw all his hunters tamers, and then he was saying, hey, Machine Dramon, get tuck. Oh boy, EX1 can't protect that.
That is true. It does not.
And then game 3, I decided to keep a hand where I thought it was a decent hand because I had a Hoguru, an Uko, another Hoguru, I think, an option, and something else. I was like, all right, I can definitely draw into my pieces with this hand. I never drew into the pieces. and I got cooked. Ain't nothing I could do about that point. And then lost that. So I already started off the day 0-2, but I knew that if I can win now, so basically go 7-2, I have a chance to get in top 16 or at least an invite passed down, because there was definitely plenty of people there that had an invite. So there was always a chance of me, if I get, anywhere between 17 to 19 or something, I have a chance. So all right, I'm playing now. Round 3, I played against Excel at all decks. I was like, okay, cool. I won that 2-0. Game 2 was scary because he got into Volder Arm, and then he did the whole play up above. So he went to the Loader Leo, which says you can't do it on when Digivolve effects in deck 3. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then he went to Volder Arm in that same play. I was like, ooh, and no on plays. I'm just stuck over here. But guess what though, because he what was it? He Digivolve? No, I think it was just a chaos chilling. But I had enough in trash to go EX9 machine, and guess what? That main effect is a when Digivolving, on play, and when attacking. So I can bypass the on play part, swing with blitz, and do the when attacking Tuckosaurus, get an effect, and do whatever I needed. And that's basically what I did. And that gave me the game basically. Clutch card. And then I played against, I want to say it was Crossheart at that moment. Won that 2-0. You would think it would be a little harder because they're a pretty fast deck. But the moment you have an analog man minimum and a machine on the board, they go, ooh, this is hard to out. I can't out this. And so they tried to go EX9. I don't think
Crossheart's outs it at all, yeah.
EX9, the Cross 9 can suspended or whatever, and then attack. But you can redirect into analog man, so who cares?
Yep.
And then by the time he got enough to try to kill, it didn't matter. Because I just went Chaos Ramon, get more sources, and then Chaos X, put more sources underneath. And then that was essentially game. That was basically how game 1 and 2 went. And that was legit. And won that one 2-0 as well. And then I played against Imperial round 5, regular Imperial. I won that 2-0. I'm not sure if he did understand what Machijimon effects do, because it's been a while, maybe. So he went and tried to do at one point, I don't remember what game it was, 1 or 2, but he went into his combo of, getting to Pyojimon, swing. I have a Machijimon on the board with an analog man. I go redirect because he suspended my Machijimon. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm like, analog man redirect, because I didn't know what he was doing. I'm like, maybe he's baiting me to use this or something. Is there a trick? I don't know what's going on. And he was like, oh, and I'm like, it dies. No partition for you. And he's like, yeah. And then he tried to do something else and, play a VMOS on the search. I'm like, all right, cool, bet. And then I just swing out and then got game. That turn or the following turn, I don't remember what it was. And then game 2, he tried to, again, it was the same kind of concept almost. I'm onto a Chaos Ramon at this point with multiple sources of protection. He drops a Medieval Gallon. He was like, all right. And I had a Chaos and I think it was an Uko or it might have been Uko, yeah. He goes Medieval Gallon, suspend Uko, suspend Machijimon or Chaos, whatever it was. Attempt to pop Chaos. I was like, protection. And he goes Vortex, swing over Uko, redirect. What are we doing here, Chief? You know what I'm saying? I don't get it, but you're causing yourself the game. I don't know if it's, you don't understand what the plays are or what, but alrighty. And so ended up taking that 2-0. And then our round 6, I'm high, I'm doing well. I'm, got it back. 3-2 right now. We're making the comeback to try to make this impossible run. and I run into Sakuyamon. I'm looking at it now. That was a 0-2 loss, unfortunately. And game 1, I needed another analog man, and I could not find my analog man's. He swung through. I was like, ain't no effing way this happened the way it is. Couldn't get there at all. He did a full combo. I'm like, I wish I could pop these Rikas right now, and I couldn't. And game 2, I lose because I drew my only Machinimon of the deck. The only Machinimon I drew was EX1 Machinimon.
It's the best Machinimon though.
And I had the option of evoing for 3 or hard drop it when I only have 4 sources in trash. So I opt to Evo over a Metal Magmon, I think it was. I gain no effects. There's no on Digivolve effects on that one. And so I swing into security. I have no protection because it's only a Metal Magmon with a face down card as a source underneath it. And I hit into a Voldararm. That cost me the game. And you can say, well, maybe you should have swung with the Metal Magmon and it dies. And then, you know, you have your sources. It was 4 sources, including the Metal Magmon. And I really couldn't do much with it because I was like, all right, I'll swing in an Evo into Chaosdramon because that's what I had. And I only had 3 memory to work with. And so I wanted to wait down and pass because I knew I had the Metal Magmon. I had a blocker underneath it. And I was like, all right, the chances of me living is pretty good, I think. And swing hit the Chaos. I was like, ain't no way. And then he does whatever. And I was cooked, basically. And I couldn't do anything about that. And then, so that was my 3rd loss. I only played the following round because Varney was still X2 at that point. And I played another cross player. I won that 2-0. Again, I got to Machinimon, no problem. And it was light work, basically, at that point. That machine, I'll bring it back again. EX1 Machinimon killed me because if that was a EX9 Machinimon I drew into, I had the Alterus in hand to pop his QBmon on board or something like that, which means he would not have been able to OTK me that following turn. And so, yeah, it just, there's no need to run it anymore. Like, I thought maybe it would be good. I can't get DP neck, but like realistically, who cares about it? You're big. You could be potentially really big. That is hard to neg you from a 16K, 18K or something like that. And at that point, I'll take my chances. If you're able to, you got a dog. Like, there's no Sean Greymon in the meta in that sense where you can like neg like 18K with no problem if you have everything. Sakuya can neg you a decent amount, sure, but it's not enough where like if you're full stacked, if you have like the double, if you have the all turns DP gain and you're 12K Chaosdramon or something, or even the Machinimon, that means you're 14, 16K. They neg you maybe like 16, like around 12K max, so you'll still be alive. Unless they go rural mode, you know. Hey, if you have it, you have it at that point, because it depends on their stack also, because they need to do all that negging. They need the I think it's a barrier Sakuyamon that can like play an option to neg 6, and then the option they would play would be the pause plugin to neg another 6 or something like that. Like they need to purposely go that route, and they're never gonna purposely go that route, rarely. And so like I'll take my chances, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's the case. I don't know. Highly disappointing results, honestly. Especially because I wanted to do well. This is technically the last regional before this season's
not technically, it is.
Yeah. The reason I say technically is because there's still the LCQs that I can sign up for.
But those are LCQs. So
yeah, I wanted to get my invite on a regional run. I don't know. Maybe if I would have play tested it more and realized like the EX1 issue, I would have been able to do better because I would have had, the 4 EX9s in the deck.
Right.
Maybe if I would have tested it more, I probably would have went purple base instead with Digimon. And that's faster, technically, usually, than what I had. Maybe. I think the speed when I had the stuff was fine. I don't think it was that bad, honestly. Maybe I would have changed some things in the deck, in the ultimate lineups, and maybe it would have been better. I don't know. I guess because in playtesting, I rarely ever saw EX1 Digimon, so I didn't even think about what happens if I see EX1 Digimon, right? I just go, all right, I'll see it, I'll do my normal Digimon plays. But man, does that, hey, you get an extra on-play effect, matters so much, especially in today's game. I would use it for Rapidmon to Digivolve something. You can use it from the Metal Tyrannomon, the Dino one, to give you that Digivolve protection. You can do, pop something with Alterus. You can do Megadramon, pop multiple bodies. Digivolve, bounce something if you need to, like Metal Mamamon. Suspend something. What else? There's just so many different things you can do depending on the situation in the game, that it matters so much more than having EX1 Digimon, where it costs more to play. It's harder to play out. It's easier. Let me rephrase. It's easier to play out, but like there's no extra value.
At what cost?
Exactly. Right. Because the new one, you have to have separate names. The old one, you need to have, different numbered names, which matters in that sense. And so for 7 versus 6, and then 4 versus 3, that matters too. If you have the analog man, the new one, that the mem setter that gives you the memory when you play on machine, that becomes a 2 cost. If you're the Metal Gray combo, the +2 memory as a free machine Digimon, there's just so many different things you can do with it. I don't know. Definitely back to the drawing board right now. We can talk about Genos real quick. He also went X3. I think he went X4. He was playing Scuba Duke. I think he just had an unfortunate matchup. He played against a random deck no one ever played it.
Bro, that deck was crazy.
Skull Greymon. Yeah, I got low key. I'm sorry, Gino, but I think I need to go try that out just because it sounds mad fun. He ran into a Skull Greymon deck where it was like mainly Skull Greymon, the one that lets you on delete play an Agu and gives a rush. So he would do, I think it's when Digimon, you pop yours to pop your opponent's like lowest DP or something. And so he would have Agu X in the stack with the protection of removing a X AMI so it doesn't get removed. So that includes your own effects. And then he would keep Skull Greymon, keep chipping away. That's what it sounded like he did. And Gino is playing a stack deck. So that hurts a lot when your lowest is your main body right there. I don't remember what else he lost to, but I know he had like some rough games for sure. And then he beat some good decks as well. So all in all, the DGU crew did not perform well at all, unfortunately.
Nope. We just absolutely.
I think, yeah, I think it's a mix of not doing enough playtesting from us. Like I was trying to get playtesting done, it's just things happened or whatever. What else? Unfortunate luck. I'm sure, like Varner mentioned, like if he sees OmniX and his L's, he probably would have been good.
Realistically, I could have. I'm not saying I could have won it all. The rest of the matchups are dependent, but that game, as long I chalk Megidramon as a loss, If I don't play any more Megidramon, I fancy every matchup except Sakuyamon. If Megidramon doesn't kill me turn 3 every game, I have a chance. And if Sakuyamon doesn't freaking Valder arm me, or if they ruin mode me on kill turn, I stand a chance. But from the looks of it, there wasn't much Sakuyamon. And there was way more Megi variants.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think the only Megi variant I get cooked by is Megidramon itself. Because it's basically it's a wombo combo, right? Because that's really how I got killed. It was Megidramon, 2 checks. As long as it lives past the first check, it doesn't matter what happens the second check because it's going to die anyways. Kill everything. Trash a security, gain memory, play a Guillamon, build up again. If it's rush Guillamon, do that. Sometimes it's not, and you live another turn, but then you're dead on the following turn because then you just get Gallantmon once or twice. So that is oppressive, but Growl X Loop, I'll be honest, I don't really think I lose to Growl X. I think what I lose to is aggro from it, but I don't think I lose to the concept of what it does. The same thing with Bird Flu. If the Phoenix dies on the first checks and it doesn't hit into low costed bodies, then cool. If I see Omekamon Omni, awesome. Unfortunately, that was not the case.
Yeah, for sure. I also was playtesting a different deck. I switched the last minute to a change one. And
yeah, I told him to switch it last minute.
I'll be honest, I think I would have done better with it. Just based on my matchups personally, because hunters. So I was playtesting a lot with Black Warriormon. If I'm playing against hunters, what do they do when I pop their tamers or I Hades force their board, stuff like that. And the Altars combo is just so clean. And free Black Warriormon Evo sometimes is a +1. Not sometimes, it is a +1 when you're doing the free play. It's kind of crazy in memory economy, right? Because back in the day, that's a 4-cost Evo every time. And now you're going from a 4-cost to sometimes maybe it was a 2-cost with a training to now free +1. When you do something like that, it's really cool, really crazy. Maybe I would have done way worse. Who knows? But I think there would have been a good chance just with the matches. Let's say if I play Sukuya again, the one game he dropped double Rika off rip. All right, cool. I can get to a Black War, pop over Rikas. Now your whole board state and your whole game plan is shut down until you draw another 2 more. Those are what ifs at this point, so it doesn't matter. Who cares? But I don't know. I guess we'll see. We're back to the drawing board for sure, because I most likely will try to. I think they have the sign ups for LCQs, but I don't know. Maybe I'll sign up for it and then go from there. I really wanted my invite instead, and going that way, because it feels what's the word I'm looking for? More prideful, I guess. Be able to get that. All right, I was the top 16 for the first set of regionals. I guess I just normally don't do well in the first half of a calendar year, because if you notice, last year and the year prior, all my good toppings was the late half of the year. So I don't know.
That is true.
We'll see what the plan is. I know Barney is definitely not going to Dallas for Card Fest. Nats. Maybe I can convince Gino to go with me or some shit. I don't know. We'll see. And then go from there.
I was very surprised to learn, and this is just my fault, but I didn't realize that if you got your invite from this regional, you were required to go to Dallas because you couldn't use it for season 2. It didn't dawn on me that was a thing, because last year we had a separate the first one was another regional, and then there was national. But they said if you participated in that regional, you would have to qualify again for nationals. So that's why I just didn't like, it didn't dawn on me that like you couldn't bring it over. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll go if that's the case. But I didn't get my invite. And yeah, I mean, I talked about competitive I'm pretty sure I talked about it last time, right, Dan?
I don't know if you did it on this one.
Not this one, our last pod. I don't recall if I did, and because I don't really want to like rehash myself, I'll just briefly touch it. Just competitive Digimon isn't it for me right now. I'm not burnt out. I very much so love Digimon, and I will still continue to buy, sell, play Digimon. But competitively, Bandai just doesn't make it enticing for me as a player to want to play. And I'm very competitively minded. And so is Dan, for what it's worth. But I need to be rewarded for competition. I'm pretty sure I definitely talked about this because I showed the Jesmon playmat. Yeah, I talked about this. So yeah. I'm not going to rehash it, but it's not it for me right now. So I don't care to go to Dallas. Also because that's in September and there's a Grand Archive event happening in August. So my funds are being allocated towards Grand Archive right now. So that's the situation. But this is the story about how DGU got wiped at regionals, unfortunately. A set of subpar performances, many misplays, and yeah, that's it. So thank you guys for listening to today's episode of DigiPod, the digital podcast. Just remember that if you play Royal Knights, you should be playing for OmniX. And if you guys like this video, you should drop a like. Also drop a comment letting us know if you went to regionals. How did you do? What were your takeaways? Did you guys do anything great? Was there misplays that you had that were gaping like us? Let us know. And also subscribe so that you know when future videos come out. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys same bad time, same bad week, same bad time, same bad place next week. Thank you for watching. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. Peace out.